Chris, I want to thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to read my poetry today. A few weeks ago, we talked about doing this on Easter Sunday. I was a little under the weather, and today is a good day to do this. I want to just say a few things about the poems that I'll read today. There's a dozen of them. These are all poems I've written in the last 5 weeks. I write these during the night between 3 and 5 a.m. I keep a yellow legal pad beside my bed and a pen and my glasses, and that's when I write these. I'll hold up this legal pad, and this, in fact, this is a poem I wrote yesterday, which Anita has typed up. The next morning when I wake up, or the morning when I wake up after I've written these, I look at them. Occasionally I might change one word or a tense, and then I'll give it to Anita, who is expert at line length and very helpful that way to me, also in breaking up lines into stanzas. And then after she's typed it up, they're ready to go. So without further ado, I'll begin. The Visitor. I might have read it, or maybe I heard it from somebody, somewhere, sometime. Does it really matter? All I know is this. This is what I remember. Be ready. I might come at any time. Make ready and be prepared. You came when I least expected it. You could have come to any other door, but you came here. No formality, no knock. You entered and made yourself at home. The problem is this. You left as abruptly as you came. Did I ever tell you how happy I was? Did I ever tell you how much I loved you? There is a scent that arrives before the dawn. From whence it comes, I do not know. But that breeze is blowing again. The breeze of longing. A conflagration of longing. Torching this tinderbox heart. Are you here? Have you returned? The only consolation I have is this. Before you departed, you took my hand and placed it on your heart and whispered in my ear, remember, my dear, I dare not, care not for my lovers. Repetition. I did not die. Not then, not now. But how do you live when every breath is a question mark? When there is a dot dash to every line of every stanza? When the ink itself never dries, but runs continuously from the corners of your mouth? A good story, but not a great one. The best is yet to come. You told me this. By taking your name, you said I would be delivered from all this. This not even nothing, not even something. The remedy is the cure, you said. And so, I repeat, again and again and again, and sit back and watch the show as it unfolds. Moonlight. One night, in fever, I woke from this dream. Silhouetted by moonlight, I saw you on your hill. Could this be true, I wondered? You turned your head to face me, so I could see your radiance and glory. There are some things so beautiful, there are no words to express. The soft breeze gently moved your gown, and I saw the light on your face. It's the little things I remember now, like what happened afterwards. If I told you I would die, but that won't happen. As I told you already, one night, in fever, I woke from this dream. Now this next one, there's a backstory to, and many years ago, Anita and I had gone to see The Passion of the Christ by Mel Gibson. We saw it across the street at the theater nearby on Good Friday at noon. It was an empty movie theater. I think Anita remembers there might have been one other person in the theater. Anyway, the film had a profound impact on me, and I wept and wept as I watched this movie. And these words came to me during the movie, and I repeated them again and again, almost with desperation within myself, while I watched the movie. Those words were, I no longer want to participate in the crucifixion of the Christ within me. So anyway, there's a line in this poem that comes from that experience. Easter. My friend, please tell me you did not spit on him as he walked by, that you did not try to trip him as he stumbled on that path, that you did not laugh as he called out in pain to his father, that you did not assist in placing a crown of thorns on his head, that you did not smile as you put the spear in his side. Because I no longer want to hear what you have to say. I do not want to participate in this crucifixion of the Christ within. Please stop the film now, Lord. I can no longer watch this movie. Roll back the stone, Lord, the stone that separates me from you. Take my hand, O Lord, and arise. Take my hand, my Lord, and arise within me. Remember him. On the dawn's breeze, I heard the children laughing, giddy with the new day and all its myriad wonders. Also, the birds seemed happier than usual, their song almost philharmonic. How could anything be wrong? What is this? What are we? Someone once told me, if you dig a hole and keep digging, you will end up in China. Well, I don't know if that's true, but I know someone who watches news all day. He told me how it will all end. Another one consults psychics and astrologers in order to make his plans for the day. But for me, I have only one plan. Just be and remember him, and keep the world at a distance. Big sinner. Everyone knows I'm a big sinner, none more than my own self. Concerning this, there is no dispute. You name it, I've done it, in either thought, word, or deed. Most likely, all of the above. What have you done to me? Where did I go wrong? The windows are wide open now, and that breeze is blowing again. I hear a sigh on the wind, urging me to leave it all behind. Now, entreating me like a beggar. Know this, I pay no attention to my mind. When you come again to my door, I will open it whether I'm dressed or not. What does it matter what anyone thinks? I will take your hand and go, anywhere, anytime, come what may. Did you see my note? You must have seen my note on the door. Darling, come inside. The mind is your adversary. I might have been dreaming. These days, I hardly know the difference. If I was, pay no attention to what I have to say. Picture this. A room that is so quiet that sound cannot penetrate. Anyway, something like that, or pretty close really. You entered, and we began our conversation. Being shy, I asked if I could do anything to make you happy. I'm sorry to say, I don't remember what you said, but this much I recall. You took my head in your hands and placed it on your chest, like a mother takes a hungry child and places it at her breast. I will tell you right now what came to me when I awoke. I will write it down before it disappears like invisible ink. I must write it down, as my life depends upon it. The mind is your adversary. It will follow wherever you go. Pay no heed. Keep your equipoise and remain cheerful. At some point, your mind will become jealous the more you remember him. When you remember him, like the dying remember life, the mind will stop. End of story. It's all madness. I saw a young girl long ago holding a balloon as if attached. The balloon was yellow and rather large. The girl seemed unaware of the balloon until it burst. I watched her cry and cry until her mother intervened. I stayed at a hotel once while on business. From my window, I saw a well-dressed man arrive in a three-piece suit with a valise in hand. He changed his clothes quickly in a phone booth nearby and came out dressed in beggar's attire. From 9 to 5, he stood on the corner, panhandling, then back to the phone booth, and presto changeo, back home again, I suppose. There's no use talking about what's already been said, unless, of course, you've already heard it. Where do we go from here? Where do we stop? It's all madness. The world is nothing but madness. Whoever, whatever, it's all madness. When I was a child, I had a dream. A figure dressed in white appeared beside my bed. He was silent and smiling. When I awoke, I remembered these words: just breathe and keep breathing. I have done so all my life. Want to know my secret? I remember him with every breath. So sometime in the 1980s, when I was on pilgrimage, I brought a t-shirt with me and gave it to Erich. The t-shirt was of the name of a band that was popular back in the 1980s, a band from London, and their name was Madness. And I have a photo of Erich wearing that t-shirt, which he did every time I saw him during the 3 or 4 weeks I was over there. Whenever I saw Erich, not only was he wearing that t-shirt, but every time he gave a talk in Mandalay Hall, he gave a talk on some form or another of madness. The last day, when I said my last goodbye to Erich said something to me which I have sort of made a personal mantra in my life. As Erich embraced me, he whispered in my ear and he said, "Remember, brother, it's all madness. So keep on smiling and remember him." That's that. Mercy. Look at these hands, and you'll see a lot of time on them. These days I travel everywhere. Wuhan's wet market isn't wet due to incessant rain. What's up with the Duomo in Milan? I didn't see a soul there. Don't forget about New York City. The only huddled masses I saw were in the Bronx morgue. You might ask, where am I going next? And you'd be right to ask. I really couldn't tell you, as I haven't turned a page yet. But I do know this. As sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, as sure as the rain falls on the plain, as sure as night follows day, as sure as life follows death, as sure as two follows one, as sure as this hand holds the hem of his garment, where would we be without his mercy? Where would we be without his sweet mercy? Surrender. Trials and tribulations, kicking and screaming. This battle is epic. I hear the lamentations of the wounded as they fall around me. When will it end? How will it end? The sound is cacophonous. I have heard that the sergeant called for a retreat as a fusillade of shells decimate our regiment. but I do as I was told and stand my ground. There comes a time when there is nothing left but the ground you stand on and a vast sky above. A time that was destined long before you were born. A time to surrender. A time to surrender everything you ever held dear. Time? There is no time. What am I talking about? The conqueror is here. He raises his hand above his head, an indication the battle is over. He smiles. I fall before him with my head at his feet. There is a road within. God only knows how I found it. I had started with good intention, only to be hopelessly lost within a short while. Peculiar landscape and no signposts anywhere. But I continued doggedly, like a four-legged animal, here and there, enjoying the scenery. As the day wore on, I began to think about nourishment and sustenance and such. Everything reminded me of nothing, and nothing reminded me of something. Of what? I really couldn't tell you. Tired I became as the sun changed colors before me, and I searched for a place to rest my weary self before I closed my eyes. At the great doorway of the beyond beyond is where I found it. I found what I was looking for. There is a road within, a place we go to when the heart feels more than the mind can endure, a landscape, a presence where love alone prevails. And this one's from yesterday, the last one. A secret between you and me. One night, with invisible ink, I asked you to tattoo my heart with your name. You said yes. And emboldened, I asked if you would also sew your name there with an invisible thread. How happy I was when this was accomplished. A secret between you and me. But then this too was not enough. Even though this heart beats every single beat for you, you informed me that something was missing. Though I'm not a doctor, I know the heart and lungs are somehow connected. So I asked my lungs, with every breath they manufacture, to whisper your name, whether I am conscious or I am not. I then asked you to help me remember you, even when I am not remembering you. There is a reason why I don't worry. Though you are silent, I know you hear everything. And that's it. Oh, actually, here's something I wrote.
Go ahead, we have a little more time.
Go ahead?
Yep.
Okay. this one I guess I had picked up by accident, but there's no accident, so
Right.
here it is. This is probably the only one that I didn't write during the night. And most of these I title after I've written them. But I remember about a week before Valentine's Day saying to Anita, I'm going to write a poem called You Think You Know What Love Is? And I'm not sure where that came from, except on TV in the run-up to Valentine's Day, there are advertisements. Prove your love by buying a giant teddy bear. Mm-hmm. Hey, get her some monogram silk pajamas. So anyway, the day after Valentine's Day, when I first got up in the morning, I was sitting in my chair and I was thinking about the Odyssey, and I was thinking about Ulysses and what I remembered about Ulysses' travails. You think you know what love is? Ulysses passed through the straits of Messina on his way home. No one really knows what he traversed during his journey. One thing is without doubt. He would do it again and again and again if asked, as it was his destiny. When you have walked the dark forest and overheard the screaming of the trees, when you have scaled calamity's hard-scrabble mountains with nothing but your hands and feet, when you have been spat on by strangers as well as friends and had to swallow your own spit, when the ocean greets you with open arms and wave after wave sinks you like a stone, when what you sought in solace and comfort devolves into anguish and torment, when every thought that is not of him causes the abyss to become a fathomless chasm, when you have become deaf and blind only to hear and see too much, when you come to the end of the limitless road and put your hot head on his cool feet, then and only then will you know what love is.
Thanks very much, John. That was really great.
Thank you, Chris.